Well, before we get started today, we have to do some repairs to the chopper. We've kind of been down this road before, but in behind that panel right there, just kind of above the fuel tank, that big green panel kind of wraps around the front side of the machine there. We've got to get that panel off of there. And there is a dust collection system on this chopper. It sucks debris off of the air cleaner, and then it also more or less creates a vacuum where it vacuums the debris off of the rotary screen. And that vacuum unit is basically just a blower motor that is pulling a vacuum. And that blower motor is driven by a hydraulic motor. It's got a belt between the two, so it's belt drive. And that hydraulic motor is on a bracket with a spring hook to it for belt tension, and that bracket is wore out. We had this problem last year, and I welded it in the field, welded it solid so that the orbit motor wasn't just wiggling all over the place. And then we replaced the bracket here this past winter, and I didn't think we'd be going down this road again, but we are. I don't know what's causing this bracket to do what it's doing, but I got done with one field yesterday. Got out of the chopper to wipe the windows down. We were chopping some Provant BMR silage that had been blighted quite a bit, and it got the chopper black. And then I was going into some Pioneer BMR, which that wasn't blighted at all. So I was worried about the belt breaking and the bracket breaking and having that hydraulic motor drop down onto the drive belt. So I took the drive belt off to just kind of let everything kind of freestand there so that it wasn't wiggling itself all over the place. And I didn't go a third of the way around the next field, and I started to get an alarm saying that I had high intake manifold temperature. So I looked, and the rotary screen was just plugged with small leaves. So we had to put the belt back on. We quit about an hour and a half later and brought the chopper home. So we need to get that panel off, and we'll show you what that bracket has done, and then I'm just going to weld it solid into place so that it can't hinge from the bracket that it's hinging from. It's all loose in there. So let's get that panel off, and we'll show you what that looks like in behind there. Well, that panel is definitely more challenging putting on than it is getting off. So we've got this area opened up here, and this is the blower itself, and it creates a suction, sucks off of the rotary screen and the air cleaner. We've got a hydraulic motor right here mounted to this bracket. Running off a belt pulley here, and what this was doing is it was just doing this all day yesterday. So when the last one broke, I assumed that the spring wore through the bracket, and then once the spring wore through, the only thing that was keeping the belt tight was the tension, or the hoses, was kind of, and the weight of the motor itself. But it appears that this material, this bushing has come out. That's what's happened. There's a small sleeve bushing that has come out of this back side here, so maybe we could just slide that back into place and kind of weld everything all together and get it to do what it's supposed to do here. You were on the straight edge. I could put two hands on it. Okay. Maybe. That's pretty good there. How's the belt tension? Alright.
That's not bad.
Alright, go ahead. Drop your straight edge and just retreat in there and tack weld that. You get in there good enough?
I hope so.
Alright, now can you reach in the back? Great.
Oh, in between there?
Yeah. Alright, that's pretty good. So we got some fires in here. That's alright. Probably better get a pail of water run. I'm going to run this belt off so that I can continue the welding here without having anything break off of there. Alright, we've got this cobbled back together here. I ended up putting a piece of 3/8 by 1.25 inch flat bar in there to just kind of stiffen that up. That's where the spring went, and the spring kept that tight. So we'll roll the belt on there. We're going to run up to the big air compressor, and we're going to blow all this crap out of here. With this shroud on there, you can't, I can get at the other side, but I can't get in there to really get after it. So I've got a lot of crap up in there. Now the other day when I ended up replacing these O-rings on that valve there, we went to start chopping. I started chopping along, and the engine RPM stayed right at, you know, 2100 or so. The cutter head just dropped right down. So I thought I plugged the kernel processor, let the chopper clean out, started back in again. Cutter head shut right down, just slowed right down to nothing. Well, what had happened was we ended up oiling this belt here. This is the main drive belt that drives the cutter head up front here. It comes all the way down into here, drives the main cutter head, and we ended up bringing it back to the shop, used a bunch of Dawn dish detergent, and we lucked out. We got that cleaned up so that we could keep a good belt tension on it, or, you know, keep it from slipping. So I do have some grimy stuff down in here that I might as well hit with the compressor, and we'll get this panel back on there, and then we could start in chopping here. Well, we're starting to get a little rain shower here now. I ended up unhooking one of the hydraulic hoses that went to that hydraulic motor and forgot to hook it up. Started the machine up, had oil going everywhere. So that's what Tim is washing off now. I blew the machine off, brought that down, he started washing it, and then I went up into the silo to lower the unloader and then move the door up and all that. So I'm gonna have to get a fresh change of clothes here. I've actually got yesterday's clothes on anyways. I knew I was having to go up in the silo here first thing this morning. So once we get the chopper back together, I'm gonna get a fresh change of clothes. And it doesn't look like it's gonna rain here too much longer. If we don't get too much more rain, we ought to be able to just go and be able to get around the field fine. If it continues to rain, we're gonna have to move to another area and use the dump wagon. So I'm not really looking forward to that, but we need to get this corn done. So let's get this chopper in here and get this panel back on, and hopefully this front goes through and we can get moving here. All right, we've got this all back together and we're setting the shear bar right at the moment. And then we're gonna go ahead and get started. It didn't rain that long. Sun's actually coming out now. And looks like it's going through a long set on the shear bar here. We'll pull this curtain down. And we can get started. Well, we didn't make it too far here, and we ended up blowing a fan belt. And we're trying to get these down on there. This is a doubled up, supposed to take a doubled up belt, but John Deere does not have one in stock, so we're putting a couple of singles on, a couple of Napa belts. So, well, yeah, feed that down in there, and I'll see if I can reach it from this side here. Well, we've managed to get these new belts on there. We're gonna let it run. Hopefully we don't have any other issues. The idler pulley and tensioner and whatever, that's fine, but it's just got a couple thousand hours on that belt is all. So we'll let it run here for a little bit and then put our inner fenders on. just about gonna do it for this video, folks. We're actually into the following day here now. We were on this farm the other night. We chopped for about an hour and a half or so with this blower bracket broke. However, it rained real hard over here yesterday morning, so we chose to let this dry out. And so far the belts are holding together on the fan, and that bracket's holding good for the blower motor there. I don't know if you can see it in there or not, but everything is running the way it should. This is a Pioneer 1449 BMR variety here, and it's running right at 62% moisture. So we've only got a little bit left to do in this field. We're just getting around the outside, but it's only a small 7 or 8 acres. So take it easy, folks. We'll catch you at the next video.